Hello. All right, so welcome to our workshop, Introduction to Git. So, funny animations. All right, so you might be wondering who are we? I'm Saumil. I'm a secondary 3 student at Bukit Batok Sec. Slightly far away. This is my second workshop. First one was also on Git. I'm mostly an iOS dev. If you want, you can download the hit app Grass on the App Store. 1.5K downloads don't lie.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Irhan. I taught the workshop earlier as well. I'm year 5 at ACSI, and I like penguins like a lot. So yeah, you'll see references to that.
Hi, I'm Raylan. I'm also year 5 at ACS. This is my second time as well as your first time this morning. I play a bit too much of the wrong kind of CS. And I really do like web dev, although I do some like controls engineering or something like other hardest stuff.
Alrighty, so let's begin with Git. All right, so through this workshop, you'll learn all of this. You'll learn how to move around directories in a terminal, CD, all that funny Linux stuff. You'll be proficient in basic Git repo management. You'll learn what Git is. Then you'll learn also how to use GitHub. As you can see, you're clearly superior to your fellows who use the GitHub GUI.
It's the GitHub GUI.
Exactly, you're superior than you. Alrighty, so here's our agenda. We'll start off with what is Git. Then we'll move on to configuring your CLI. Then version control. Then we'll give you a hands-on. Then after that, branching. Then also another hands-on. Then we'll recap and end the day. All right, so what is Git? So as this funny cartoon says, Git basically tracks your repository, like the changes in it, and it allows for collaborative work for projects. Like for example, if you have code on your PC and then you have a teammate who's participating in a hackathon, you would need them to be able to see your code without like putting onto Google Drive every single time. So Git comes in and helps you with that. So as you can see, textbook definitions aren't always the same for programmers. Please do not call each other Gits. All right, so when you collaborate and document together in school, what do you use? I request 5 responses before we move on.
Just shout it out or something like that.
All right, since no one has decided, we shall play the game called Mona.
You should explain the rules first, bro.
Well, and then some has to answer.
Shit.
Okay, moving on. You young man, what do you use for collaboration?
And we can't take that down.
It's okay, what are you talking about?
Expect to throw that high. All right, now everyone's active. Answers, yes. The game did not work. You young man, what do you use for collaboration? What? What's that?
Sorry, what?
Canvas?
Campus.
Canvas.
Oh, Canvas. Okay.
Anyone else from like a normal secondary school? You. Yeah.
Google Docs.
Yeah, it's very good. All right, so basically you either use one of these. Either you use AirDrop, Google Drive, or a private Discord server, and best of all, you can use GitHub. All right, so what is Git? It allows you to share your code. It's a content tracker. So if you type in Git man on a Mac OS device, you get to see that thing where Git calls itself the stupid content tracker. So more importantly, Git is a fast, scalable, and distributable version control system. Git by itself is not the same as the GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, Azure DevOps, or Beanstalk that you might see. Although they function using Git and have Git in the name, they are not Git by themselves, as Git is the file tracking system behind all those services. So more on Git. Git functions by hosting this thing called a repository. As you can see right up there, think of this repository as something that takes snapshots of your code. It doesn't like upload your code every single time. It just takes a snapshot, then uploads the changes. So that basically means that Git doesn't overwrite unchanged files. It only changes the file that you change. So like that picture says, if you change, like in the first commit, if you only change one file, then only that file gets changed and so on. So how Git functions is basically by giving off your repository to people who want to collaborate. All right, so Git versus GitHub. GitHub is the Git repository host. It provides a GUI for Git functions. GitHub is the easiest and most accessible to use out of all the others. like those beanstalk, all the other funny stuff. So how do we use GitHub? Crash course on GitHub. You may now enjoy the next 3 minutes of your time watching this video.
What do you mean, what is GitHub? What do you mean, what is GitHub?
It's the largest, most complete development platform in the world. Millions of developers use it. And it's not just developers. These days, every company is a software company. Somebody might say that. Come on, let me show you. GitHub is an enterprise transforming, startup launching, community driven, super secure, open source championing, cloud-based platform. It's where the world builds software.
We created algorithms and global businesses. We even want some Mars. Or at least our code did.
Oh, yes. With GitHub, anything is possible. But how? Say this is Sanam, a senior software engineer, and this is a team's project on GitHub. Sanam and the team can create their own branches of code to work together in parallel.
This is my branch, an alternate timeline where I can build, squash bugs, and safely experiment. There are communication and task delegation tools right next to my code. So when we're ready to merge, we merge instantly.
It works with thousands of branches for over 1 million projects.
And with built-in project planning, automation, CI/CD, and AI-enhanced code editing at every step.
You can move fast, making 8 ducks in a row. Oh, you gotta be safe about it.
GitHub has advanced security with automatic vulnerability detection, secret scanning, and more. So we can build and ship safely and securely.
So now you know what GitHub is, you might wonder who GitHub is. It's a student learning to code. It's disruptors revolutionizing music. It's a CEO transforming a global company. It's 21,000 strangers working together to take the first picture of a black hole. It's a place for anyone, for anywhere, to build anything. Anything you think the world needs.
Such a good video.
What was it? You already knew that. Why didn't you say anything? I was talking for ages back there. It's embarrassing.
Alrighty, so moving on. Since you already saw what GitHub is, so to expound on that, GitHub is so much more than just code. They have their own things like discussions, communities, organizations, like if our BuildingBloCS organization, their AI generative assistant specifically for code, trained on public code, so it's like slightly better than ChatGPT. Then they have this thing called campus experts, where if you're above 18 and in like a college, they give you free training for a lot of time and let you go to cool places. If you want to learn more and are above 18, come find me later. Some guy gave me a great course on it. Right, so another video on like what GitHub is, like more physically, not like you know that a digital thing, but you might want to be interested in the physical thing as well.
In the Arctic Circle, an archipelago covered in ice, Svalbard, home to the northernmost town in the world, to thousands of polar bears. And it is here you can find the global seed vault. Millions of seeds have been sent here from across the globe for secure long-term storage in cold and dry rock vaults. Just down the road is a decommissioned coal mine that has taken on new life.
Wait, it's a Monday. People are definitely going to come down and help me get it down. I'm probably going to get banned, but
This is where we will protect open source software for future generations. Deep within the permafrost layer, which can stretch up to 400 meters thick, we will store the world's open source software on silver halide film. The data is encoded on frames with 8.8 million pixels each and designed to last over 1,000 years. In our initial deposit, we archive thousands of the world's most depended on open source projects. The work of hundreds of thousands of developers from around the world. We will return next spring during the perpetual light of the midnight sun to deposit every active public repository on GitHub for safekeeping in the GitHub Arctic Code Vault.
Alright, so you can see it's a bit too late to actually do anything now, but like you get the idea of it. GitHub like does physical things for people as well. So moving on. Okay, so I'm supposed to be showing off GitHub now. So this is something called GitHub profiles. Think of these like LinkedIn or a portfolio. Any or all tech hiring people look at this portfolio of yours to judge you more. So here's a quick breakdown of it. You see that thing about popular repositories. That's basically what you're interested in and what some of your top repositories and some of the finest work that you've done. GitHub will show it off here for anyone who visits your profile. Then below it is this funny green thing called the contributions graph. This thing is fairly important to any tech recruiters. The more green that you have there means that the more code that you write and the more code that you commit. So as you can see, the one on the left is a bit dry, while the one on the right is a bit more active, So like if you're a tech recruiter, which one would you like to hire more? The one with like more code or the one with less code? I assume I heard more.
Let's
Okay.
go because it's all private.
You should try and open source and stuff because it sets a great example for people around you who want to like develop cool stuff like you. Okay, so this is something that I wanted to show off. You might come across profiles like these and get demotivated as heck. Well, this is an example of a profile of an overachiever. As you can see, they've listed their whole life story down, and you really do not need to be like them. Please do not list down what's it called? Replit as a tool or anything that you use as a tool. Try and make it like more personal for tech recruiters. So like they know what your code does, what you are as a person. All right, so as a precaution, I'm sorry for the accent in the next few videos, but enjoy the next few videos.
Graph on your profile. Darker green means fewer contributions, and lighter green means you have been super busy. Contributions basically mean you have made changes to files. Could be something small, like adding a comment, or something huge, like coding a fancy new API or algorithm. And yet, even something silly like adding a single space to your code and committing it counts as a contribution. Wild, right?
Yes, it is.
Now, if you include your GitHub profile on your resume, recruiters might check out this graph. It's like a glimpse into your coding life. Is it active or is it as dry as your love life? No commitment. Do GitHub contributions even matter? And is using this tool morally okay? GitHub is like Instagram or Facebook for coders. Instead of posts, we have got repositories. Likes, there are stars here. And that contribution graph, it's like your activity feed. Employers might use it to see what kind of projects you have worked on, your favorite programming language or frameworks, and yeah, how active you are. But here's the thing. Not every great developer has an active GitHub profile. Some work on secret stuff that never makes it to GitHub. And there are alternatives to GitHub too, like GitLab. Some might use them. So for experienced devs, the graph doesn't really matter. During an interview, they can solve problems on the spot and impress anyone. But if you're a beginner, it might help you. Picture this. Two candidates with identical resumes, but one has an impressive contribution graph. Who would you choose? Most likely the one with the solid graph because it shows they are familiar with version control and GitHub. But
The video after this is basically them yapping about the tool that they made to fake GitHub commit. So I'm not going to talk about that. So moving on, projects. These things that you see on GitHub are mostly called projects. This is a couple of examples of good, well-documented projects with good readmes. These readmes are basically instructions for anyone who want to use your project or basically use your project, how to set it up, how to get around using your project. This is an example of a bad one because as you can see, it's basically, it says nothing about how to like start the web server, how to do anything with the code that you gave them. This is an example of a good one. As you can see, they have a clearly well-defined what the code does, how to use the code. It's all in there. All right, so more on GitHub lore. There's this thing called AutoCAD, the one that's right up there. It comes in many different forms. The 8 legs represent interconnectedness and collaboration within the GitHub ecosystem, and it's a CAD, AutoCAD. So this one right here, as you can see, is like the main one. It's called Bona. There's a bunch of spin-offs like this Homer Simpson one and a couple of memes. All of you managed to grab a sticker on your way in from the GitHub. Everyone has a sticker, right? All right, everyone has a sticker, great. So all of you have gotten like about one AutoCAD each. So those AutoCADs, not all of them serve a purpose, but the original list of like 100-ish was comprised entirely of AutoCADs used for legitimate purposes by GitHub. So a couple of you might have some AutoCADs that are like community made. So every single one of your AutoCADs has some lore behind it. If you want, you can check it out at octodex.github.com. I shall refrain from going through it now because, as you can see, there's 157 of them. I do not have the time. All right, so I was gonna do this with my Git plushie, but he's gone. He's in a better place now.
What is this? I hope you saved enough for me.
Well, look at the Spanish show. I'm from San Francisco. All good.
Hey, Mom, good to see you. Good to see you too. You came home. Don't forget about my little brother. I got you something. Really? Open it. Guys, for just a second. Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
This year, give them something snuggle, something made with love. Available now at your local GitHub store.
Go GitHub store.
She's in a better place now. All right, so moving on. How many of you have a GitHub account? Okay, that's a bad question. How many of you don't have a GitHub account? All right, quite a few. All right, so I'll go through how to sign up for GitHub. Do I have anything? All right, before I start, a couple of things that I might forget to mention. So number one, a GitHub username is permanent. You cannot change it. Think wisely before moving on a name.
It's not permanent.
So pick a username you'll be comfortable revealing to your future boss.
Permanent.
So like, don't put anything you wouldn't want your parents to see. And shorter is better than longer. So like, if you want to write out your whole name, you can, but do you want to? Then for the love of God, do not use uppercase. This will make it harder and more annoying for anyone to clone and do stuff with your code. Because like they need to uppercase your name every single time they type it out. All right, so moving on to a quick guided demo of signing up. So how many of you don't have the account? Please head over to github.com now. All right. All right, everyone on github.com now. Alrighty, so I'll speed run through signing up. So basically you just type in your email here.
How important?
Now you get to go through this fun launch sequence of theirs. Password. What's my password?
Yeah.
Anyone wants to log into my account? Here's now your time. Bye bye. All right, so moving on. So I need capitals.
It's capital BBC.
All right, so here's a quick example of signing up. So your username, please do not put in a meme name. So you can put in something sensible like can't spell.
Is it
Because
button
the
or
B-
something?
My C key is dead. So BBCS.
Just see there.
Copy it over.
All right, so it must have been faster for all of you, but you get the idea. I can't press V. Okay, so BBCS lure, that shall be our username. And then you get a verification screen. What are these cryptic?
Not the skips. Sorry.
The Sigma.
Ah, wait.
Submit.
Oh.
Hey, I'm not a bot. All right, so now that you have a GitHub account, you press in Gmail. Oh, I can. Okay, the shift key is jammed.
VM have a jam shift key.
It's special.
Special kiddo.
Then you get your GitHub launch code. Then all right, so now I'm verified and on GitHub. This thing. Okay. You remember the password?
Do you remember the password?
BBCS lover. The C is broken. Control C.
Oh, you should have asked me to bring my keyboard.
Oh, what was it?
It works in macOS.
You should just say that like you're using a VM and
All right, so I'm using a virtual machine for this because like I do realize a lot of you have Windows PCs, so it's a bit better. All right, everyone signing up for GitHub currently, please do so very fast before he manages to find out our password. Anyone remember our password? Dang it.
I love BPCS. 24th December, I think.
Oh,
something like that.
December, capitalized.
No.
No, it's just BPCS as capitalized.
Hey.
Oh!
All right, everyone
Same.
got their GitHub account up already? Anyone still struggling? Everyone has a GitHub account? You, Vessels, where are you? Oh, okay, she's done. You don't need that now.
Oh.
Okay, so as you can see, this is basically what you should be seeing right now. This is GitHub as its core. All you see is basically everything. Now, if you want, you can go around typing in some cool stuff like people's usernames. Mine is personally Sono the Code. It sounded cooler when I was 12. Users. Then you can do this thing called follow them. So basically, there's this law that a follow on GitHub is not as same as an Instagram follower because no one follows you on GitHub. So please follow me on GitHub. So as you can see, contribution graphs, everything I worked on right here. Then there's this thing called README, and I'll go to the overachievers one. It's gone. So here's the overachievers one. As you can see, it's really too much. No one's gonna hire you based on all of your life experiences. You should like make it a concise thing on what you've done on GitHub so far. All right, so moving on. I think that's about it for like the fundamentals that you need to learn today. So back to the harsh reality of Git. So configuring Git CLI. Okay, this part, everyone head to your terminal or whatever whatever they call it. Terminal. On Mac OS, it's called terminal. PowerShell is evil.
I have a Mac VM as well.
Yes. Then on terminal, type in git version. Dang it. Okay, so this is basically a quick example of that. Then on Windows, type in git version. If you see nothing, like it just errors out, that means you don't have git installed. How many of you don't have git installed? Yeah, you see this. No git? Anyone else no git? All right, everyone has git. So you're basically the only one. What operating system do you use? Windows. All right, so on Windows, you basically you just search up git, download, then click on the first link that you see, click on Windows, and then copy this winget command, then basically just paste it in and press enter and it should download. Head to git-scm.com. I expected the Wi-Fi to be a bit faster, but this also works.
It's not bad already. It's quite good.
The Wi-Fi here is terrible. Another room is slightly faster.
Escape.
Yeah, that's not that macOS is not happening today.
Skull.
There's a lot of stuff to download for command line clips. Just use your. Oh, yeah.
I don't have Windows.
Use item.
Anyone still struggling with Git, feel free to reach out to a facilitator or one of us will come down and help you. Everyone has Git? Alrighty, so moving on to Git, since I think everyone has it, if you don't, please reach out, you need help. Okay, so checking Git version, you should have done this already, so you probably have Git already. So moving on, version control. This is the part where Yuhan takes over.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Hi everyone, I'm back. So wait, before that, right? Can I just like double check that like those who, I mean, the person in the blue shirt, have you installed Git? Okay, fantastic. Okay, we can move on. Okay. All right. So for version control. Now, version control is basically like the core functionality. Sorry. Can I just project? Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. So version control is inherently intertwined with the core functionality of Git. It's basically the value of having Git on your computer in the first place. So yeah, have you ever had you know what, Samuel, let's act this scenario out. Okay, go for it. Start.
Oh no, my code ain't working.
Why?
No clue.
Yeah, basically, so this happens sometimes. And so one very quick solution to this is to use Git. Let me just turn off the mic 1 second. Okay. Yeah. All right. So just now in the video introducing Git, you heard this term called timelines, right? So these are actually basically branches, and they're called timelines because your commits, they always have a timestamp. So your commits by default are arranged in order of the direction of time, basically. So yeah, Git, what it does is that it keeps track of different versions across different timelines per se. Like Samuel mentioned earlier on, it takes snapshots of your code at different times. And yeah, okay. Oh, if you really think about it, even something like Google Docs also has certain version control functionality built in, but we'll explore how that differs from GitHub later on. So here is a general workflow when you're using Git. Now, yeah, so just to be clear, repo is just a short form for repository, And yeah, so we have two sections over here. We have local and we have remote. Local basically just means everything that happens on your computer, and remote means everything that's happening on like whatever Git hosting platform you're using. So in this case, we are using GitHub, right? Okay, so there are a few stages that you have to be very clear of in order to fully understand the commands that we'll be introducing later on. First of all, you have your working directory. Can I have a show of hands who uses VSC? Yeah, Visual Studio Code. Yeah, okay, so a number of you. So in VSC, when you open up a project, right, you're opening up a folder, and like you have all of your different files and subfolders within that folder, and it's all displayed on the left-hand side. And so whatever folder you're using, that's basically something like your working directory. Whatever folder you are kind of adding Git functionality into. Yeah. Okay, so afterwards, we move to the second stage called the staging area. It's just an intermediate area. I'll mention why we need this area later on. It's quite important. And then afterwards, you will be moving on to your local repository. So this part is where you actually have something that's relatively more permanent than your staging area. And this is the stage where your version control is kind of set into place. But there are ways to reverse this, but we'll explore that later. And your version control is set into place, at least on your computer. Everything over here is happening in local. And then you have git push command, which uploads it to your remote repository. So this remote repository will be hosted on GitHub, but you can use other platforms as well, like GitLab. Okay, and then, yeah, the rest is just like, this is just a workflow. Okay. Let's go through each commands. But before that, we need to talk about this thing called .git ignore. So when you're committing files, right, in your working directory, there might be certain files that you simply don't want to commit. For example, if you're using GitHub, right, it's open source. So anyone theoretically can come into your repository if you make it public, and they can take code from you. So this is where you need to choose certain files not to commit, especially sensitive things like your API keys, for example. And when you create a repository on GitHub, which we'll be doing in, I think, a later demo, so if you scroll in the settings section, there will be a part for you to add in a .git ignore template. Different programming languages have different sets of files that are commonly ignored when you push it to Git. So yeah, this is okay. This over here is just an example of I think this is Swift. Yeah, Swift.gitignore. Okay, so let's first of all talk about git add, which is the first command that we see, moving from your working directory to your staging area. Basically, in VSC, for example, you have multiple files in a single repository, right? It's very rare where you're making a small project that only has one or two files. So in this case, for example, you might be working on functionality A in file A, and then you might be working on functionality B in file B. And you want to take a snapshot of what's in file A, but file B might not be ready yet, right? So this raises the need for us to pick and choose files to save to our checkpoint. Yeah. Okay, so basically, we stage and add files to a commit with git add. This part is going to have a lot of animations, so just for the sake of consistency, we'll treat this box over here as the staging area. You pick and choose which files with git add, and you add them to this staging area. So the syntax is quite simple. You have git add plus the path to whatever file you wanna add. Yeah. And then you also have flags. So for those who are not familiar with like interface with like CLIs and things like that, basically a flag is kind of like an optional setting that you add on to a command to tell it to do this specific thing rather than what's happening like by default. Okay, so I'm not going to cover every single flag available to each command. It's quite a lot, but here are just some ones that I think are quite common. So you have -f, which forcefully adds otherwise ignored files listed in, for example, your .git ignore. You also have dash capital A, it's capital A, which adds all files. And then you also have dash I, which allows you to interactively add files. You can play around with it later on. Okay. So we have what we have in our staging area over here, and we're moving on to our next stage, which is git commit. Now we're moving from the staging area over to the local repository. And for git commit, right? Unlike things like Google Docs, which seemingly auto saves at random intervals, for code you really want to have like specifically determined checkpoints. If you want to save, then you do something to make sure that that snapshot is saved rather than having the saving process be random. Okay, and how we concretize this is using commits. Okay, so basically commits is just, think of it like a checkpoint. So each snapshot, like Sawmill said earlier on. Yeah, git commit takes stage files and commits it to the local repository. And note that each commit has a unique ID called a hash. Yeah, and this is basically how you refer to a specific commit in other commands that you might use. For example, if you want to roll back a commit. Yeah. Okay, so each git commit requires a commit message. And this, if you look in your GitHub later on, your commit message is what will be displayed to signify or explain what was committed within a certain commit. And this is why we have very important requirements for each commit. So number one, of course, your commit message should be precise and concise. So you need to explain what exactly you're committing in that commit lah, basically. And also, this is a bit polarizing, but you need to write it in present tense. So when you update, let's say like a file, right? It's very natural to refer to it as like, oh, I updated this. But in a commit message, what we need to do is that we need to add an imperative, and that imperative must be in present tense. So instead of saying added content view, you need to say add content view. Instead of updated homepage UI, you need to write update homepage UI. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So over here, this is an example for what your commit in GitHub would look like. You can see your hash over here, and this is basically in the overview, in the commit history. This is all you have unless you click into it. So yeah, it's very important to have a commit message. Okay, so in git commit, you package up whatever you have in the stage files, and then you add it to the commit. Yeah. Also, we're gonna be okay. For commits, right? For animations from now on, each commit is going to be signified with a circle along a line. Yeah. Okay. So some syntax for git commit is quite simple. It's literally just git commit. But the most important thing, adding the message, almost always you'll have a -m flag followed with your whatever message you have. You can also add other flags like -a, which stages all files that haven't been staged in commits. You can also -c and refer to a previous commit. So over here, you'll be putting in the hash of whatever commit you want to refer to. And so that allows you to reuse the authorship information of a commit that's passed in while editing the log message as well. So you also have --amend. This is 2 dashes, please note. And it replaces the latest commit with whatever commit that you're doing right now. And it's important that, well, I recommend that this only be used if commits haven't been pushed to remote yet. Because if not, it might result in this messy thing called merge. What's it called? Merge. Yes, merge conflicts. Yes, sorry. Yeah, so don't do it, basically. Okay, and then afterwards, you also have git push. So note that we're going from the local repository to your remote repository. So this is how your friend might be able to access your code, which was originally on your device, but now you kind of upload it to the cloud, basically. Okay, so what it does is that it takes all the new commits from your local repository over here, and it adds it to your remote repository. So for your first git push, you should always use this first syntax. git push -u. So -u is a shorthand for set upstream, and what it does is that it links up whatever the name of your remote is to your branch. Yeah, and commonly branches is a concept that we're going to cover later on, but for now, for the purposes of the demo later on, just use this git push -u origin main. I'll guide you through it, so there's no need to memorize this for now. And once you've set upstream, you've kind of like configured what's the default path that your pushes are going to go to. And that's where you can just write git push and you don't need to set your upstream anymore. So some flags, -- all pushes all your branches. Yeah. Okay. So afterwards, right, we also have git pull. So git pull is where we go from the remote repo down to your local repo. So this might be how you can access your friend's code from GitHub onto your device so that you might do some edits or perform further testing or something like that. Basically, yeah, what it does is that it takes all of the new commits from the remote repository. So over here, if we compare remote and local, we see that commit 5 and commit 4 are new. So you want to pull these two commits down to your local repository. Yeah. And git pull is actually a combination of two commands called git fetch and git merge. And so to demonstrate this, let's just say that there's an arbitrary intermediate space called the viewer. And git fetch basically takes the difference between your remote and your local. It takes 5 and 4 and it moves it to this arbitrary space. And then git merge merges these two. Yeah. So now your progress is the same as your friends. Okay, so it's very important for you to check for uncommitted changes with git status before pulling. So you can think of uncommitted changes as something that's like, I guess, it's not been backed up anywhere, right? So it's a bit more, I guess, unsafe would be the way to put it. And when you have something that's, when you're trying to pull progress, right? This might cause quite a bit of like what we said earlier on, merge conflicts, which we'll cover later on as well. So it's important to always pull before push so that you update your end with all of the progress that your friends have made before, and you resolve all your merge conflicts before you push a version of the code that doesn't conflict with any parts of your friend's code, and then you move it to your remote repository. Yeah? Okay. So the syntax is quite simple. It's also just git pull, and you can also use --rebase, which basically updates your branch with remote commits first, and then your local commits. The use case for this is kind of like, I suppose it's kind of niche in the sense that normally you will only use it when you're doing many small commits within a short period of time. Because every git pull, it leaves an imprint on your git log, and you want to keep your git log very readable. So when you're doing many pulls, right, what rebase does is that it skips that log. Yeah, it's from appearing in your git log. So yeah, okay. So now we're gonna be moving on to, now we've talked about like all of the ways to update your progress, right? What if you want to undo some of your progress? Everyone makes mistakes. So you have this command called git checkout, and it's a very flexible command, and some other purposes of it include switching branches, or in this case, restoring files. Yep. So if, let's say, you write your code, and you realize that, oh no, it's not working anymore, and you want to roll back to your last checkpoint in which your code was working, in this case, you'll use git checkout, in which you discard uncommitted changes in a file to your last commit. So over here, for example, you have a file called hello.markdown.md, and the red part is what's uncommitted. So what it does is that, oh, okay, sorry, my bad. I think it's because someone is using the web version, but yeah, basically it overwrites whatever you have with like whatever's in your commit lah. Okay, so the syntax is git checkout dash dash with your bad file name. So whatever file that you want to roll back with, yeah. And the flag is dash p, which allows you to interactively select chunks of code to restore. Yeah. And then if let's say the case that we mentioned beforehand is when your changes aren't committed yet, right? So what if you've already committed your changes, but you decide that I don't want those commits anymore. What you can do is this command called git reset, and it basically resets the current branch head to a certain commit. Okay. So by default, it preserves the progress of the commits on working directory. Yes, typo. So let me explain this animation for a bit. So you have commits. So in this file, you have the progress of commit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you want to remove commits 4 and 5. So if you just type in git reset with your target commit, this mode is actually optional because it has a default mode. And your target commit, for example, I say I want to roll back to commit 3, right? Okay. And what it does is that it wipes out whatever you have in your commit 4 and 5, but it puts your whatever progress you have in your commits 4 and 5 back into your working repository. So yeah, it's still there and it's not like completely wiped out, but it's just gone from your repository. Yeah. Okay. And then afterwards, you also can specify different modes, right? Just now we saw in syntax, there was a place for you to put in a mode flag. So there's a hard reset, which basically completely deletes the progress of resetted commits. You see that it doesn't even appear in your working directory anymore. Or you have your soft reset, which preserves the progress of commits as stage changes. So it's basically your default mode, but then you move whatever changes you have back into your staging area. Yeah. Okay. And just a side note, if you want to use git reset and you want to find out, for example, like all of the commits that are available for me to reset to, you can use this thing called the git ref log, which is a shorthand for reference log. And it shows all updates to a local branch for a certain period of time. And you use it with git reset to to recover changes. So the syntax is basically just git ref log. You can list or you can delete, and you sub it in this field over here. Okay, just now I mentioned git status. You always do git status before pulling. And basically what git status does is that it displays the current state of your repository. It tells you basically everything you need to know about your progress, what's in your staging area, what's uncommitted, etc., etc. Yeah, and it helps you make decisions about whether or not to push or pull. Yeah, okay. And then you also have your git log, which if let's say you want to have a quick overview of what was changed in each file, yeah, it shows a list of commits, for example. Yeah. Okay. So to set up a repository, I think, okay, let me just go through the theory first because we are pretty close to our hands-on section. There are two ways mainly to set up a repository. So first of all, if let's say you want to work on your friend's project, I suppose, and it's already on GitHub, right? So he or she has done all the fundamentals and set up a Git remote already. So what you want to do is you want to git clone that repository onto your own computer so that all of the commit history, all of the progress and everything, it's directly copy and pasted onto your own computer. Yeah. Alternatively, if let's say you are the one starting the project, you should start by, I mean, you need to make a folder, right? You need to make your working directory, and you just do that by like, I don't know, making a folder normally in File Explorer or Finder. And then in command line, you need to git initialize this directory. This is the path to whatever directory you've created. as a Git directory. So that adds Git functionality to whatever working directory you've created. And then if let's say you decide that you want a remote copy of this repository, and you might have friends who are coming to help you and collaborate on this project, you will need to add a remote. And how you do that is by using the git remote add origin with whatever remote URL you have. So this requires you to create a project on GitHub already, but it's an empty project, so it has nothing in it yet. And you add in the remote URL here to say, okay, I have the remote repository, I have my local repository, now I'm making a bridge between the both of them. Yes. Okay, now I have hands-on. Basically, wait, you didn't cover making AutoCADs? Huh? Okay, do it. Okay, so in order to make this a bit more fun, we've included a section for you to make your own AutoCADs for this hands-on.
As you saw the AutoCAD up there, very nice looking. So you'll be making your own now to commit. Since in June, how many of you came for June? You might remember that we made you upload like random pictures, so it wasn't quite fun, wasn't it? Okay, so we'll give you like 5 minutes to make your own AutoCAD. Head on down to myAutoCAD.com.
Can you zoom in? Yeah.
Everyone here yet? All right, I assume everyone's here already. So now just press get started, and it should give you like a video, but like you can just click and it'll skip. So basically now you just make your own AutoCAD however you want. You'll be committing this to the repo later, so make it as personalized to you as possible. And if you have no creativity, you can just press the random button.
Become really limited.
What?
Become really limited.
Okay.
Because everyone's yeah. So tell them to use their use the hotspot if you can't access.
Hotspot.
Become really limited.
Wait, you're gonna use hotspot. Wait.
I think it should be the Wi-Fi because everyone connected to this Wi-Fi.
People signing accounts.
No, like this thing, like the Wi-Fi, like the B, it's like.
You can't use GitHub. But I can. Someone tell GitHub. This happens before.
Okay, then it's fine.
Okay. The blacklist is
If you have a rate limit exceeded error when you try and access GitHub, try using your own hotspot. If you don't want to, then come over here and I'll give you mine. Yeah.
Oh mine.
Or his. Yeah.
So basically, in the next 5 minutes, build your own AutoCAD, then we'll go further from there.
Have a lozenge. I'm losing my voice.
Not really.
Okay.
It's just to my AutoCAD. It's not AutoCAD.
No, you just make the AutoCAD. We upload later.
They can't access the my AutoCAD.
Use hotspot. Anyone still unable to access myAutoCAD.com, please step forward. All right.
Raise your hand or something. Then stepping forward is like.
Or just raise up your hand, it'll come to you. All right, 5 minutes left.
I want to build my AutoCAD.
Reject your fee.
Angry.
Mona, she's not coming back down.
What do you mean?
Someone gonna get a ladder. I know downstairs is like construction, like connection or something. You can go to connection and like ask for a ladder.
You're not just gonna hand us a ladder.
I mean, just say, why not, man?
I'm gonna get us banned from SNU.
What's up there anyways?
Mona.
Like other than Mona.
It's just
Wi-Fi
it's her
router.
throne, bro. It's her
Use the
throne.
Wi-Fi router.
A queen octopus.
We have peaked. We managed to get banned off the Wi-Fi. Johan, your throat is dying.
Drinks?
I think drinks make my throat bad. Worse.
That's great. I'll put one there.
That's great. It's crazy.
Like you threw like a water bottle and hit it down.
They will fucking sue us for hitting. If we hit down that fucking router, they're gonna sue us.
I don't think that's a router. I think it's nothing. It's just a sound absorber.
It's like a bunch of cables coming down, right?
It's Sennheiser though.
Probably audio system.
Yeah.
I can't be sure. Alright, we build one.
Anyone make a pull request?
Oh, we haven't taught them yet.
He showed the thing.
What?
Push and pull. AutoCAD boy.
I'm sure she doesn't see it.
Eek. Does it really work?
Check the screen.
Make the nerdiest AutoCAD ever.
I'm gonna email it into this one. Because we'll be using the VM so that they face the same problems as us. We'll be using the VM for like the actual.
Can you fix it now?
How the hell do we fix it?
Change Wi-Fi. Does it work?
I mean, it should.
Excuse me. Actually, does it look like it? I think it looks like it.
Nah, the hands do it injustice.
What do you mean? Wait, I need to add a prop. Do they have a pen? Actually.
Damn it. Alright, so now that we are done with our AutoCAD, everyone should have something like this just ready. So to save it, press the big green button at the bottom, then press I agree, and then just save it. Then it should just go straight to your downloads. And from here, Johan has to take over. Good luck. It's in the downloads of the Windows VM as well.
Did you link this to your like GitHub?
It's linked to the one that I made up just now. It's not linked, so if they face issues, we will face the same issues.
Oh. Okay. Okay. What's the
Building blocks.
no what's the slides?
Right.
Oh,
By the way, that's a Mac OS VM. swipe up. Yeah.
Yeah, so now that you have your AutoCAD, save it to whatever folder. But just make sure that you can find it later on. Yeah. Okay. And it's very important to rename the picture. Sorry, your name has your surname, because if let's say the name of your file is the exact same as someone else's, it might cause problems. Why does this mic not cooperate with me? Okay. Yeah. So head over to this link over here, github.com/buildingblocks/gittember.
You want to go to the VM now?
Is it not me?
Oh, that's my quiz.
Turn.
Oh.
Not that one. We go straight to this VM. Why would I run the whole workshop in a VM?
Why do you even have to do these?
What?
Never
It's
mind.
like if they face issues, we can face the same issues.
Gittember. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a file here?
Is everyone there? We're not gonna like okay. I'm not sure if this link is gonna be still on screen, so can you zoom in?
I think they're probably to the link already.
Hmm?
Might want to start forking.
Okay. So basically this is the interface for a GitHub repo. And for your okay, so think of this as like the gang boss of repos, okay? So whoever who's the owner of this repo, basically decides who gets access and who can edit and merge and add in code and contribute code. So typically, in a more structured organization, in order to not you don't want someone to contribute and just mess up and just like nuke your entire repo, right? So you have this thing where you have this system where people need to approve your contribution before merging it into the big boy repo. Yeah. So in order to make a small boy repo, I guess like okay, just a a repo that is downstream from this big boy repo, you press fork. Yes. So basically what this does is that it creates a copy of this repository under your own name. So you get to do whatever you want with that repository. You get to push, pull, commit, everything. But when it comes to carrying over changes from your copy of the repository back to the big boy repository, there is a system where people need to approve your merge. Yeah. So go ahead and fork your own copy. You can just call it Gittember or something like that.
Stop.
Create a fork. So now you see that atypical or different from you just creating your own repository is this line over here that says you forked this from the big boy repository. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Oh. Does not work. Does copying and pasting not work?
The control C.
No. As in like I don't think like control is mapped to command. Womp womp. By the way, guys, sorry for not using keyboard shortcuts because we're using a VM. So as you can see, this is running Windows and this is a Mac computer. So keyboard shortcuts is a bit finicky. Okay, whoa, 28 forks. Okay, great. So I mean it's just pressing a button. So those who are behind, just take note and do it. I guess we're gonna continue on with this. Okay. Okay, all right. So just now, over in the slides, right, I mentioned that if let's say you already have a ready done GitHub repository with previous code and previous progress, and it's safe, you have a remote repository, but you don't have a local repository. So what you do is you press code over here. It should create a drop-down menu. And then over in HTTPS, press this. Just copy this link to the clipboard. Okay. So typically, if let's say you are using something like ESC, there's a user interface, like a graphical user interface, a GUI, that allows you to do your Git commits and whatnot. But for the purposes of this, we're gonna teach you how to do it using terminal or PowerShell. Yeah, okay. Huh?
Control.
Oh, okay. So you have your link over here.
What the kid?
Yeah. Type in this command and whatever link you copied earlier on behind. Yeah. Oh, yes. So for those who know how to navigate PowerShell, or just like command line, you can go cd into a more suitable directory to clone. But if you have no idea what I'm talking about, just like clone in whatever folder your terminal spawns you in.
Can't review yourself.
Yes. Everyone done? Can I have a show of hands who's not done? Oh, okay. Facils.
Two pull requests. Check the change in the files. Sometimes because it's old.
What?
Check the file stream.
Approve one. Wait, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Oh.
okay, let's just pause for a while so that we can get everyone caught up to date first. Sure. Samuel. Oh, sure.
Again, it's already.
What's the do this?
What? Easy restarted. You just put an X in between.
Should I reject?
Yes. So no, you just tell him to like it works as it is. You just put an X into it. I love the Git temper.
How do I add tag to this?
You just reject. Just close it. Just press close.
Labels.
Invalid. I get emails for every single fork. So real. A true grand peace march.
When she go, what are you?
I'm checking out. You so short shape ended it.
Hey, it doesn't work.
What?
They don't know how to use it.
No, I put it in. Like if you fork it and then add a file, try creating a new PR. You have any code, bro? Yeah, sure, that one. Oh damn it! I moved everything.
Oh, yeah. If you add X in, it does not automatically. Yeah, it doesn't. And then
I'll just tell you just have to like put an X in it, then it like works. I'll ask you to look for it later.
Are you really merging?
no.
Oh, what?
We merged
No,
like-
because yeah, we merged Linus and then her thing just died.
Really?
Yeah.
Everything's upstream and stuff.
Yeah.
The Fox should still be fine. You just press that one button to save.
No. Like she can't clone.
She's cloning I was equal.
No, she's cloning her own, I think.
What? Even substitutes.
Okay, so I assume most of you are done. And for those whom our facilities are still helping, rest assured, they'll get you caught up later on. But let's just begin. Let's just continue. So over here, okay. So for those who did not CD into like I don't know any folder, any other folder, just copy this file path because this is where you basically created a folder and open up your file explorers or finders if you're on Mac and yeah, so paste this over here, paste it inside your kind of a search bar kind of thing over here. Do note that do not to copy like this greater than sign over here. Yeah, so you enter, it will lead you to whatever folder you made your your local repository, your local repository in, and you can see over here that this is the folder that you made, and there's a penguin, there's a readme, and then there's an octocat. So what you want to do is to okay, so Sama already has an octocat here. Just take this, you can copy or cut anything, and then put it in here. If you know how to move files using command line, feel free to do that. If not, just use your file explorer. Okay. Okay, so now what we've done is that we've added a new file into your local repository. Now this is a change that hasn't been staged and it hasn't been committed. So if you type git status, oh, sorry. Yep, so first of all, cd and then just write git tember over here. Okay. cd git tember. It should be the same for everyone. Okay. And then Git status. Yeah, so now you see that what your Git status is telling you is that there is one untracked file. So that means that it's not in your staging area and it's not being committed. So now Git is telling you to use git add file, right? So oh yes, by the way, I just want to reiterate to like rename this. We just okay. Yeah, rename it to anything you want. Preferably your name plus your last name's AutoCAD or something like that. So git add whatever your name is. So you see that, for example, like when you start typing the file name, and then you can press tab for it to autocomplete. Yeah. So it doesn't give you any feedback, but if you type git status, it tells you that instead of untracked files, this is now subsumed under changes to be committed. So that means that it's currently in your staging area. Okay? Everyone, yes? Okay. Sawmill. Yeah, okay. And then let's continue. Basically, now that you've put your new file into your staging area, up next is committing. So git commit. By default, it basically just commits whatever you have in your staging area. And then don't forget your -m, and you need to type your message. Yeah, so put your commit message in quotation marks. Oh, Sawmill, can you fix this? Link to your Git account. Okay, we're gonna unplug, I think, for now, because this requires Sawmill's account details. So yeah. Oh,
What account details?
this is not that. You need to config.
Oh.
What is it? Close succeeded, but checkout failed. Why is it checkout failing?
Not sure at all. Mona is dead. You see, I know she's out there in a better place. You're actually stupid, bro. I agree.
No, she's asking how do you add the AutoCAD to the thing. I don't
Drag it in. This is literally File
drag
Explorer.
drag it.
From like the downloads, just drag
Drag
it to the Git temple.
Just drag it.
and drop. Or if you're big brain GigaChat terminal, dude, you just use empty Aren't you supposed to leave a tree? Just use something. The horse is.
Did you fix her problem? Can you go fix his
Oh,
problem?
his one's dying.
Thanks. Hi, Peter. She's in a better place now.
We're getting maintenance team to carry her down later.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, he pushed. Wait.
I don't know how dumb you guys can be, but okay.
What do you mean? No, he didn't push. Wait. Yeah. So now that you've committed your AutoCAD, just git push. And because this is your first time pushing, you need to set your upstream. It's the origin main, right?
They're all trying to, well, they're trying to clone it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Sawmill, can you sign into GitHub? Wait. Oh, never mind. Go back, go back.
The GitHub folder is supposed to have nothing.
Hmm?
Is the GitHub folder supposed to have nothing?
No, it's supposed to have like all of this except for this.
The default nothing.
Huh?
I know why. I know why. Yes.
It's the Linus thing. It's a Linus.
It's a Linus.
It's a
It's
space.
a
It's a
Linus.
space.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, skull. Guys, remember to rename your file to something without a space.
I delete this.
So just use a underscore or something like that. And if you change your file name, you need to git add again. Yeah.
Wait, but the one that default has nothing in it. The repos that default have nothing. I've seen like them clone an empty folder.
Okay,
And
wait.
Yeah, because the space file is messing up the clone. So they have to, what's the command to reclone?
Give me reclone.
Like, cause
Just create a new just
it's
clone
not
again. What?
delete the directory and clone it again, right?
Are you guys okay?
Yeah. Okay, so I approve my
Huh?
It's something.
No, just enable auto merge.
No, he added something.
Just enable auto merge.
Who added something? Yes?
No, I need.
Why are you deleting the notes?
It's a space in it. Yeah, here, approve.
I have no idea how to do this, bro. Holy. Why did you set it to no access? I mean, no
Okay,
one
okay,
has
done.
access. We do. He has. He does. Oh, now he does. Okay. So we need to kill Linus Torvald.
I killed you already.
Very good. There's no queue. Did you all set up the queue?
What queue?
There's no queue. Why you say
Queue.
queue? There's no much queue here.
Cute.
Oh, queue.
There? I deleted Linus.
I do a shenanigan. I want to close something. Hold on.
Add something in inside. Wait, don't do it.
We're making a new directory. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Why?
You're making a new directory inside the git.
Yeah.
Delete it. Delete it.
Why?
No. No.
Aw. Boo.
Who your goddamn doing head.
Can I make an AutoCAD?
No, wait, do it on my computer. Go.
Oh.
Peter,
There's something
you stole my chair.
I know. I know.
And I stole your Mona.
That's not my Mona, that's someone else.
Oh, and I stole Samuel's Mona.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cute. Is
Wait.
that yours?
Yes. Actually, it was right. Hi guys, can I have like a show of hands as to who is done? with like caught up, as in you renamed it, you make sure that there were no spaces in your file name, and you pushed the commit. Can I have a show of hands who's done all the way up to this step? Wow. Okay, so who's stuck at which step? Can I have a show of hands who needs help? Oh, Skull.
Guys, there's a black AutoCAD. Oh, this is so cute.
Did Johan,
Yes, she does have access. What?
did she clone it already?
I don't think. Never mind.
Wait, what is supposed to do after they moving? Commit, is it?
Peter.
Yes.
So they what is it?
Yeah.
E-commit.
Okay, please, bye. I'm gone again.
I thought you went home.
Yeah, I'm going home now. My phone. Shit. Can I steal your camera?
Not mine.
No. I have a camp tomorrow.
What's it called? Work on GitHub.
You know why it broke? It's like a fruit line.
Let's go about.
Hey, oh shit happened. Hey, master. Three commits.
Emergency instructions.
Emergency instruction. You can announce it.
How about that? Alright, how many of you have been victims of Linus? Like you can't commit or pull anything and can't see any of the other pictures in your local directory. Okay, so for you to go to github.com, go to your fork, and then on your fork, press the sync fork button after you press this sync fork. Then update your current branch, and then everything should be fine. If that doesn't work, once you're done syncing, updating,
They call me, they push.
go to your file explorer, then delete the git template folder, and then clone again. Anyone else stuck? If you get stuck, just raise up your hand. We will come to you. We'll leave it up for the next 15 minutes.
I updated it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's about it. Take a look at it. Yeah. Add comment push.
Are we doing checkout? Checkout? Alright, let's go.
Oh, I push the branch.
Yeah, you can push after you.
I push the branch.
Make sure that your what is
I just told one.
Push the one.
I didn't keep we didn't give them pictures yet. Need to give up. You cover pull request yet? Not yet, right?
Not yet.
Then the rest is just pull request same as. I think now what I need is pushing. That's
Bunch of people are pull.
Okay.
It will break.
Hey, can you be manual looper? Thank you.
Still have how long? How long do you have until the?
I do not. Wait, how long do you need? For branching?
No, I mean, like, how long we have until
I
There's something going on.
You need 15 minutes for your section.
No, like.
You want to stop.
Right?
Stop.
No, but when you like normally.
I do not know. When I create, I do not have participants that I can create. Yeah, so however long you need, I'll stop accordingly.
Wait, but are they about to finish it? Still some time.
Like kind of like
15 minutes, fine. 15 minutes is
Just give them 30. You can tap, so we can find CD. Tap. Oh, balance D. Press D. Press D.
Oh, that's like, okay.
Okay. Oh yeah. Find out. I guess like technically they could help you but then
Hello, anyone else needs help? Okay, all right. Where is what? Oh. Which one is this?
Yeah, it's on.
Let's go behind you.
Oh, it's fine, it's fine. I get you.
Oh, okay. This is just like arbitrary. How you know for your reference.
So now if you open your file again, you put back to the file. It's probably then now. Yes, no, we don't have any we have to be searching it. Now, and it's by big battery. Each for different changes. Finally, we can try to merge them. Yes. So why don't we make one? Yes. Merge, I think merging that one is good. Then you get.
Alright. So the rest of it,
Like you just slowly do and back then when I was in the thing, I had this section 2 was like right, and it was 2 hours. So I didn't have time, that's why I lost through everything. I did make errors and stuff. The next day, it was very much. Oh yeah. It's like now that you see now you have time just slowly you can from the way.
So, like,
Can you
we need to wrap up now. Okay,
can
we
you
need to wrap up
cover
now.
like full requests?
Alrighty.
wait, so can we do branches now?
After we do PRs.
Yeah, PRs is like quick. It's just showing the interface, right? Yeah, okay. So it's here, right? Wait, I'll
Machine.
wait, it's here. It's here. What happened? Okay.
Hey, why does when you commit, right?
Hmm?
Keeps opening into a thing.
That's when you don't pass in the message. So like Vim
Yeah.
said so that you can type it in.
Yeah.
I do not know how to interact with Vim, so I
How
just
do
put it
you
down.
exit Vim,
You don't.
Just colon QA enter,
Something that everyone struggles with.
Isn't that Linux?
Colon.
Okay, so we need to move on to the next section. So let me just wrap this up. For those who need help, yeah, our facilitators will go around. And for the next section, if you're still not done by the time we start on the next section, feel free to approach us after the session. Okay. So, basically, as we mentioned earlier on, your repository over here is a fork, right? And what you basically every single time you push, your progress is not automatically synced with the parent repository, or as we say it, the big boy repository. So yeah, if we go back here, what's it's here, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, basically every single time you guys okay, wait. First of all, you need to press. Wait, do you need to contribute, right?
Contribute.
Yeah. So after you commit, you will realize that your branch says this branch is one commit ahead of your big boy branch, right? So in order for you to add your progress to the big boy repository, you need to do this. You need to open a pull request. And then like for now, yeah, all of this doesn't matter. It's basically to tell the reviewer what you've done. And yeah, you see that it says review required. And if you switch to an account that actually has the authority to approve reviews and whatnot, no. Yeah. Yeah, so for example, this, you'll see that, you'll see that the pull request I opened just now, it's here. And on Sawmill's account, yeah, you can add review and whatnot. So basically, this is just a system for you to review the changes that your downstream repositories have made, and for you to decide, is this worth it? Is this worthy of being added to the main repositories? Yeah. So to illustrate, so what you do in your local fork, you push and everything, and then you need to press contribute open pull request, and then after that, you need to wait for a reviewer to approve your pull request and then merge whatever you've done into the main repository. That's how your contribution flows. Okay. I think, does anyone have any questions on this section? If not, we're gonna wrap up and move on to branches. Okay, wait, can I have a show of hands who still needs help with the demo? Okay, all right. Freydon?
Let me
Wait,
hold on.
what's the slides?
I need my laptop. Yes, please.
Oh, you want to?
Can email professional come see if
Yeah. Good. Is it this one?
Hold on now.
Take this one.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, listen. Allow. You move your laptop.
Teams. You need Teams to.
Yes, I might. I have Teams. I have Teams.
You share screen yet?
No, yeah, no.
I'll send you the link.
No, I have.
Nia invited you.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Okay. Can you? Yeah.
What's this? Oh, charging and camera. Change your camera to the big boys cameras.
Is it charging? No. I think no. I use my charger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Huh? Oh.
Camera.
None of the photos was like a space.
No spacers.
Oh.
Just like ask him to put it as a name. Then start meeting.
Approve.
Huh? Yeah, start by approving.
Yeah.
That's the Figma link, so.
That's the.
Let me Discord you the.
Send me the link.
I
have. Yeah.
No, that one.
Yeah,
That one's attendees.
Oh.
Speakers have slightly different. Huh? What the hell is this? I just start merging. Oh, what?
Huh?
I'm losing it. Oh, okay.
Hold on. I'm trying to get a link to the meeting.
Discord already chose now to rate limit me. Chicken and dog. All I see is chicken. That's it. Please, I'm a human. There you go.
Thank you.
Whoa.
how to put it back into the main logic. Yeah, they're going to teach you that now. Yeah. Sorry, folks who are online. Okay, but basically, branches are essentially just separate environments that allow you to test out new features or track and classify development when you're adding new features or fixing bugs. And you can just imagine it as your code being a tree, and you want to keep the main branch very sturdy and stable while you expand out on new branches in order to test out branches. Okay. And this is just a visualizer of a branch. And as you can see, all branches will eventually be merged back into the main branch environment. Okay, moving on. So when you're working with branches, there's two main commands that you need to take note of: git branch and git checkout. So git branch mainly enables you to create new branches. And there's a bunch of different flags here. For example, -d to delete the branch, then L to list all branches. I'm going through a bunch of ways to find out how to show what your current branch is later on. And lastly, -m to move or rename a branch. So we'll be using all of these. We'll be using most of these commands later on in our demo. So now for git checkout, similar to how you can check out a commit, you can also check out a branch. So this just allows you to switch onto the branch that you're working on. And also one quick tip, just to save some time, is that instead of doing git branch and then git checkout to create and switch to a new branch, you can actually just put in a -b flag, and that just allows you to combine two commands into one. So there are a bunch of different ways to check out to check which branch you're on. So you could do show current, as I mentioned previously, check from git status or git log. Me personally, I prefer git log because it's shortest and more concise. And for that, it will just be shown over here just at the end. Over here. All right. So now, as I mentioned previously, the ultimate goal of all branches is to work on what needs to be worked on, and then merge it back into your main branch. So we do this using the command git merge. And when we do merges, we may face these things called conflicts, which is when the two branches you are merging contradict each other, meaning that there's a change in the same line of code, and hence Git can't read your mind. Git can't know what you want. And so you have to resolve the conflict, which I will go on in more detail later on. So when using git merge, you have to first check out to the branch that you are merging to. Meaning, most of the time, right, you'll be merging onto your main branch, meaning you have to check out to your main first, then do git merge with the branch that you're merging. So always remember to check out to your main before merging the branch. Okay, so here's just a quick example of how code will merge. So as you can see here, we have two different versions of the same file from two different branches. So over here, we have line 1, which is the first line. Then we have line 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are all different lines. And if we merge, we get line 1 never going to give up. And there is no conflict over here because there isn't actually any contradiction. See here, on this version of the file, there's nothing. And on this version of the file, there's never gonna. And over here, there's give you up on the first file. and nothing on the second file. So although one of the files lines is blank, as there's nothing written there, there isn't actually a contradiction, and hence Git can automatically merge the file. So on to merge conflicts. So as I said beforehand, mergers will not be successful if there's a conflict. Git can't read your mind and know what you want. So if you have, say, different developers who both want different things, Git will ask you to resolve this conflict. And here's just an example of an error that you get in your PowerShell or a Git bash on merge conflicts. So I'll be going over an example of certain conflicting files. So over here you can see these two versions of the files again, except now you see there's a difference in the same line. So you see here we have line 1 variation A, and then we have line 1 variation B. The difference is just in that one letter A and B. So when you merge it, you get this error of a merge conflict. And also Git will write the two versions here in your file. So Git is actually writing this directly onto your file. It doesn't just appear this way, it is actually this way in the actual file. So what you have to do when resolving these conflicts is you have to open up the actual file in your preferred editor. I like Visual Studio Code. And then you will see the two versions here. And this head basically means your current branch. Then you have this equal signs which are being used as like a separator. Then you have the second version of the file from the branch that you're merging. And then you will have to open the file. And you have to remove the unwanted lines, keep the correct lines, and thereafter save, add, commit, and push. Now, if you're using Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Code does offer some a fancy feature which I'll show you a feature which just allows you to accept the incoming change, accept the current change, accept both changes, or do something else. And I'll show you that feature later on. So when resolving conflicts, you can just treat it as any normal change, which is just add, commit, push. The same. All right. So now on to the hands-on section. So what we're going to be doing now, and what I'll be demoing here, is creating a GitHub repository. Then we're going to clone that into a local repo on your computer. And then we're going to use some handy art over here and use the XC art to make changes on both branches, to make different changes on two different branches. Thereafter, we're going to be trying to merge these changes back together. Okay, so you can just follow along. Okay. Okay. Huh? I mean, mic. All right, so now you're going to head on over to GitHub first, okay? So head on over to GitHub. Now you're going to create a new repository. So just click the button, okay? And you can name it whatever you like. So I'm just going to call it test because it's That's demo, okay. And make sure that you do not check add a README file. Make sure that these are all unchecked. So you want to create a completely blank repository, okay? So I'm going to name my test and I'm going to create the repository. All right, so as you can see here, I have my nice little repo. Then now I can go and open up my command line or git bash if you have it. Then first, you are going to want to change your directory to like your documents folder or like an appropriate folder. So for me, actually this step is optional. If you don't want to do this, you can just clone the repository, which I'll show you in a moment. But I want to change my directory to documents first. Okay. So now you can see I'm on documents. Then now I'm going to use this command called git clone. So what git clone does is that it brings my GitHub repository from the cloud and from GitHub into a local repo. So I will just type in git clone. Then we have to give Git a link from GitHub. And you just copy the link up here, okay? The link up here is the link to the repository. Up here, okay? Copy, paste. And you make sure that it's properly pasted in. So now you have git clone and then a link to your repository in GitHub. And you press enter. Great. Okay, so now it says, okay, we clone an empty repository. This is great. And now you will have to, because now you're still on your parent directory, and you have to change your directory into the actual repo. So you can just do cd and then reverse slash and the name of repository. So test. Okay, so now I'm in my repo. My working directory is my repo. And now let me just go and find that on my computer. So if you use this, I'll start. Yeah. So I saved it to user/documents, right? So all I have to do is just go to user/admin/documents. So I go user admin and documents. You can see, oh, I have test. Okay. So now I'm just going to open up. Then now I will be adding a new text file. So I'm just going to call this animal.txt because what I want you to do now is open this text file, then go online and find an actually part of an animal. So just Google and find something. So for me, I like deers. So I'm just gonna use this deer right here. So just copy and paste it into your text. I'm just gonna give you about like 2 minutes to find your preferred animal and do this. So just go online. You can use this website over here, or just find whatever you want. Yes. Yes. So just a recap. So you make a repo on GitHub, then you clone it to a local repo on your device. Okay. Then now you open the local repo on your device, then you add a new text file, and then you add your art, your preferred animal. Okay. So just give you guys a few minutes just to catch up if you don't already. I'll just leave my commands here.
Sorry, that's it. It's really good.
Tests.
Cuma end up at
For me, you cannot see.
any help.
Those online, can you just quickly raise up your hand if you need any help?
Kristen as well.
Oh, guys, does anyone need any help with the steps so far? Why don't you guys go around?
Like we're going one step. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone needs any help so far? Oh.
My rounds.
So again, take a look at them.
I'd like to. It's a bit too late for that.
Keep it short because we're gonna do just find your games and then make sure to save it.
And when you go find that
Okay, do it. Mona's dad? Okay.
Okay, then now you want
Wait, why can't we just throw another one?
Just throw a time.
You're gonna break it.
ASCII art, FP art.
Let's start first.
But it's a lot of people's wrong.
Thanks, Paul.
So sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Sorry, I'm so
No, not yet, not yet. Wait, guys. Hey guys, so once you put in your ASCII art, just save the file, okay? I'll go through how to commit and push it. Now. So, any help? It just saves you a step.
Long space.
Like, noted, but no thanks.
I guess.
Yes, it's noted lah.
Bye. The mic doesn't work.
No, I did like enough.
I don't need a.
Good job, buddy.
Okay. Okay. So, once you've obtained your little artwork, you make sure to save the file. Save it, and then now we can close it for now. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is since we made a change to the file, we have to git add. So we do git add with the name of the file. So for me, I named it animal.txt. And then you want to commit and push it. So so now we can just commit this. So we do commit and write add here, right? And finally, we want to push it to our remote repository. So we'll do git push origin. So origin basically just represents the remote repository. And we'll type in the name of the branch that we want to push. So git push origin name. And then we do that. And as you can see over here, we now have pushed the branch doing the change onto GitHub. So now what we have to do is we have to create a new branch. Because once again, we're trying to take two branches, then we're trying to merge them, right? So now we need to add a new branch. So the way we're going to do that, is git branch with the name of our new branch. So I'm just going to call it new eyes since we're going to be changing the eyes of your XE animal. Axie animal, and you have Git branch new ice. So this just creates a new branch for new ice.
That's closer to launch. So that whenever you commit,
Yeah, okay.
a branch that's what's about the
Git branch new ice.
already
And what this will do is just create a branch called new ice. Then we have to switch to that branch. Check out. So we are switching to new ice, branch new ice now. Git check out new ice.
Yeah.
And now once we have our new branch, we first have to push, because we actually haven't saved this new branch into the GitHub remote repository. So we're gonna have to commit and push this new branch. So actually, we don't have to commit since it's a branch, since it's just a new branch, but we can do git push origin, and the name of the branch that we want to push is git ice. So git push origin ice. I'll just give you guys a few moments to do this. The online people, if you need any help, you can just Has everyone gotten the steps so far? If everyone's okay, we can we can move on. So now that we've switched to the new branch and we also pushed the branch to main, you can then go back into our control repository. We can open up the animal file. And now just change the eyes of your Axie animal. So I'm just gonna change mine to XX. And then just save it. So what we're doing is we are making storing changes on the same line of the text file on two different branches. That's why we're changing. So
I'm not gonna memorize this
So once you made and saved your changes, now you just have to add, commit, and push. So it's just a basic workflow. So it's add no.exe. Okay. Commit dash add message. So I'm just gonna say change I to X. And then to finally push it to the remote repository. So,
like on the desk. Not actually stay somewhere else. Sure, yeah.
That should be the outro.
Yes. Shit to destroy.
Read your repository.
Okay, so as I was saying, you just want to add commit and push. So we will do push origin is just represents the remote repository. And the branch that we're pushing is so we push our different our change types onto the remote repository. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to our main branch. So we use git checkout.
your Git command line
Checkout.
so give it to the you check your origin.
And now we switch to the main branch. And if after we switch to the main branch, when we open up our animal txt file again, we can see that the eyes are just back to normal. They no longer have S because we made those changes on the other branch and not the main branch. So now once you're on the main branch, you can double check over here, it will say, now we can change the eyes once more to something different. So I don't know. I'm gonna change the phone. The phone. Okay. And then I will save it. Always remember to save your file. And just to verify that you saved it, you can do status. Oh, you see, I modified animal.txt. So now once again, we are going to want to add, commit, and push these changes back to the remote repository. So I will go with add. Dash M.
I think you said just now it's
Say pin file
and put basic.
And finally, we will push this back to the more
Exponential. Something's happening.
origin. And let's just wait. And now we'll push it to the main block. So now we'll try and merge these. So we'll do. Oh, and so now what we're trying to do is merge the UI branch into the main branch. So we have to double check on the main branch, which we are. Then we'll do git merge. Merge new apps on the main branch. So we will be merging new eyes into main. Oh no, see we have a merge conflict.
So let me just zoom in so you can see clearly. As you can see, we have a merge conflict in animal.txt as expected because we have contradicting changes in the same line of the same file. And Git doesn't know which version we want. It doesn't know if we want like the artwork with O eyes or X eyes. And so now, after we get this conflict, we have to resolve it. So how are we going to resolve it? you can open up the file once more in your preferred text editor. So for me, I like to use, even though it's a text file, just pretend it's like a mini file. So you use like Visual Studio Code. So I'll open with Visual Studio Code. And now you can see here, Visual Studio Code automatically recognizes that this is a Git conflict, and it gives me some preset options over here. That's very nice. But of course, you can see the syntax that Git uses to present this merge conflict. You see the head, it represents the version that's in my current branch, which is my main branch. And then below that, below the sequence of code signs, you can see the incoming page, which is the version of the eyes in branch new eyes. So if you're using Visual Studio Code, very easy. You can just select, let's say I want to keep my Y eyes, press accept current change, and then it will correctly pause. And so, alternatively, if I just undo that, I will also just accept the incoming change, which just gives me the X size, or I could accept both changes, which just puts them one after the other, like on two different lines now. That looks a bit weird, so we will do that. Also, it gives us the option to compare changes. So we will open the two versions side by side, so we can more clearly see that this one works better. So you can just do accept current change. Or if you're doing this manually, all you have to do is just delete everything except the line H. Sure. So I just want line yeah. Then delete this. Okay. Or you can even just like change it to whatever. Or change it to something else completely. So now I like the wide eyes. I'm just gonna go to file and save. So is everyone okay? Git this. Git in the process of resolving conflict. Git push.
So the point is you can't get the
So now and now finally we can merge it. How we modify animal.html. So now I'm going to do add the name on the file, which is animal.txt. And we can just copy this as we would any other normal copies. Whatever's there. So git submit dash m we'll say resolve now we can do which is and the branch that we want to push is main. So so now we've successfully created a merge conflict, and then we successfully fixed. So once again, So this is what you will see in the file. And you just need to delete the version that you don't want. Just keep the version that you want. So there's no need to keep all these like formatting stuff, separators that were created by Git. You can delete those as well. Just keep the version that you want. Okay. Maybe we'll go around and see if you guys need help. Does anyone need any help? Can you raise your hands? Nice. All right.
Let's see if it works out. You just have to your main brush. Yes. Okay, I saw like 3. I got lucky. There we go. There we go. Like the way it works. Something right in that same document. If they have different versions, no. So you just cover versions around the kind of I think that's pretty big.
Someone needs help with
That's the bad my keyword. So at this point of time, right? What you want? Okay, I'll scroll up. I'll zoom in out because can you see the one? A bit challenging. You see the words? A bit challenging. Okay, yeah. It's impossible. It's possible. I can see it. You guys read the words? Yes, bad is readable. This is not fixed. So the run data has it's not active. The new is here we are not looking at our file. Yeah, which is just the version of version of the new one. So just an alternative. Like storage the years and from the uploaded. So when you there's a version. Yeah, you bring it to the. Do you push? No, do you push the? Right. For all. It's supposed to be a file. When you move it, like you have options. Yeah. Yeah. When you merge, Wait, then. Oh, okay. So that you like there's no means like either you move from the main bus to your then the merge like you want like we have the original one.
It's finicky. Why is that not issue?
Amazing. People use the pyramids. In sense of time, I also you have reference.
Yeah, okay, just even.
It's stuck in UI.
Yeah,
yeah.
Football guy is getting. I don't want that. Something that I should already. I mean, yeah, I guess. It's a will. That's how do you know that?
That's what's up.
Well, like say, like, because like it made me. It seems like any guy that did back to any like any message.
I got an ATM card for vision error. $10, they have changed.
Oh, sorry, secret actor button. Oh.
Yeah, everyone.
Look at which print out. There after.
So at 6:18.
Very nice.
Better even consider
Control's name is last.
which place do you play? Actually,
And bucket.
Even though it's like three seems the same. But I think
just you ask the
Wait, you're doing the awesome so
Whatever. You're pretty shy.
Off with this much. You are off with this much.
I thought I got it wrong. I said follow me. I literally said follow me to my things. First, right? That's the now you're and now you're now you're going to the you add and then push switch to switch. And now then you need to push this device to make sure that it exists. You have to push it. You have to push this to function. Make sure that it's reflected in the amazing. Then now you're on the the new branch, right? Now you change the ice, you save, and commit push. Then you change back to the main branch. Change the ice to something different. You save, commit push. Then you resolve. Then try and merge, then conflict, then resolve. So you just have to remember to push when you push the branch. To push the branch when you create a new branch. Yeah. Then after that, just add commit push, add commit push. Just change add commit push, change add to branch. Or you can use a text. Guys. So right, when you're resolving conflicts, right, you don't actually use any text editor. You can just use like simple notepad. Then you just like delete the stuff you don't want. Oh, delete everything that you don't. No, man. And like so we can just save it. And then solve it. Okay. So we have like an outro.
Wait.
Haven't been doing.
Yes.
Hi everyone, since we've come to the end of the workshop, so next steps is from us. If you want to learn more about the Git, you can feel free to try this fun game called learngitbranching.js.org. It's a fun game created by the community, and there's Git cheat sheet. So if you get stuck, feel free to take a picture of this now. And if you wish to use a GUI version of Git, you can read up on Git GUI and Git K. Or if you get lost, it's always a good old Git help. Slide kind of Discord, by the way, if you want to refer to them again. Everyone took their photos? Okay, so now the Xcode asks me